Hi everyone, welcome to Keep Calm and Crochet. Today I'm going to show you how to crochet this cute little Christmas pudding plushie. For this tutorial you're going to need plush yarn in brown, cream or white, red and green. I've used 18mm security eyes, but you can certainly make this plushie without any eyes if you wish to. I'm going to be working this with a 5.5mm crochet hook. In addition to this, you're going to need stitch marker, darning needle, pair of scissors and some fiber fill. So make sure you've got all of those components. Now before we start, if you enjoy watching my tutorials, be sure to give this video a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. Let's get started. We're going to start off with our brown color. Let's work a slip knot using whatever method you prefer and chain 2. Now this method we're using is an alternative to magic ring, but if you prefer working with magic ring, then skip this method or step and then work round 1 straight in your magic ring. For round 1, you're going to be working 6 single crochets. And for this method, skip your first chain, slip your hook in the second chain from your hook, and work 6 single crochets all in that same chain stitch. Here's my first single crochet, second, third, fourth, fifth, and my 6th one. Once you have your 6 single crochets, pull on this bit of yarn to eliminate the gap between your stitches. This brings your stitches nice and close together and eliminates the gap there, and we can now work in spiral. To do this, you're going to slip your hook in the first single crochet of your previous round and work your first single crochet of round 2 in there. I'm going to start using a stitch marker to identify the start of my rounds from here on. If you don't have a stitch marker, feel free to use a hairpin, scrap bit of yarn or paper clip or anything that you can identify this with. I'm going back into that same stitch to work another single crochet. Now when you work 2 single crochets, it's called an increase. We're going to be working 6 increases in this round. Here's my third increase. Fourth. Fifth, and my final increase number 6. This brings your stitch count to 12. Let's start the next round by working a single crochet in our first stitch, stitch marker back in place, and we're going to follow the single crochet on with a increase. So which means 2 single crochets in that next stitch. And here's your repeat for this round. 1 single crochet followed on with an increase. Repeat that all the way around until you get to this point. You will be able to fit this combination 6 times into this round. Go ahead and work that and then meet me back here. At the end of this round, stitch count is 18. Let's start the next round by working 2 single crochets in a row. Here's my first, stitch marker back in place, second, and an increase in the next stitch. And here's your repeat for this round. 2 single crochets followed on with an increase. Repeat that all the way around. At the end of this round, stitch count is 24. Let's start the next round by working 3 single crochets in a row. 1, 2, 3. Follow this on with an increase in the next stitch. And here's your repeat for this round. 3 single crochets followed on with an increase, and repeat that all the way around. At the end of this round, stitch count is 30. Let's start the next round by working 2 single crochets in a row, stitch marker back in place, and we're going to follow this on with an increase in the next stitch and 2 more single crochets after that. So we've got 2 single crochets, increase, 2 single crochets. You're going to repeat the combination all the way around. So that's 2 single crochets, increase, and then 2 more single crochets. Go ahead and work that and meet me back here. At the end of this round, stitch count is 36. Let's start the next round by working 5 single crochets in a row. Here's my first one. Stitch marker in place. Second, third, fourth, and fifth, followed on with an increase. And here's your repeat for this round. 5 single crochets, followed on with an increase. Repeat that all the way around. At the end of this round, your stitch count is 42. We're now going to start our next round by working a single crochet in our first stitch. Stitch marker back in place. Follow the single crochet on with the single crochet in every one of these stitches all the way around. To finish this round, you're going to need 42 single crochets in a row. Once you've done that, you're going to follow the same method 7 times altogether to have 7 rounds of just single crochet. So go ahead, work 7 rounds of single crochet and then meet me back here. At the end of 7 rounds of single crochet, stitch count is still 42. We're now going to take a minute and insert some security eyes into this head. The size I'm using is 18mm. I'm going to count 3 rounds down and insert 1 eye. And then we're going to keep about 6 to 7 stitches in between. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I'm going to insert this in the 7th stitch over, like this. Turn it over to double check that they both have gone in the same round. Mine have, and now I can put the backing on. And now I'm going to start the next round by working 5 single crochets in a row. 1, 2, stitch marker back in place. 3, 4, and 5. Follow this on with a decrease. To work a decrease, you're going to slip your hook in the next stitch, pull up a loop. In the stitch after that, pull up a loop. 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through all 3 in one go. And here's your repeat for this round. 5 single crochets, followed on with a decrease, and repeat that all the way around. At the end of this round, your stitch count is 36. Let's start the next round by working 4 single crochets in a row. 1, 2, 3, 4. Stitch marker back in place. Follow these 4 single crochets on with a decrease. Pull up a loop from the next 2 stitches. 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through all 3. And there's your repeat for this round. 4 single crochets followed on with a decrease, and repeat that all the way around. At the end of this round, your stitch count is 30. Let's start the next round by working 3 single crochets in a row. Here's my first, second, third, followed on with a decrease. Pull up a loop from the next 2 stitches. 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through all 3. And here's your repeat for this round. 3 single crochets followed on with a decrease, and repeat that all the way around. Now, as you can see, the gap between the stitches is decreasing in size with every single round. So make sure to fill this up with fiber fill and then finish this round and then meet me back here. At the end of this round, stitch count is 24. Let's start the next round by working 2 single crochets in a row. Followed on with a decrease. And we're going to repeat that all the way around. At the end of this round, stitch count is 18. Let's start the next round by working a single crochet in our first stitch, followed on with a decrease. Let's put the stitch marker back in place, and let's repeat this combination all the way around. That's 1 single crochet, followed on with a decrease. Repeat that all the way around. And here's my last time, 1 single crochet followed on with a decrease. Stitch count is 12 at this point, and now we're going to be working our last round to close that gap off. So make sure you've got this Christmas pudding filled with fibre fill before you work this round. So in the last and final round, you're going to be working 6 decreases. Here's my first decrease, stitch marker back in place. Second, third, fourth, fifth, and my final one, decrease number 6. Once you have your 6 decreases, the gap will be quite small on the top. I'm going to work a slip stitch. Let's take this stitch marker off first. I'm going to work a slip stitch in the next stitch. And let's go ahead and snip this yarn off. Pull it out of the stitch and pull this down to secure this in place. Now you'll notice that there is a tiny little gap left in the stitches. We don't need to fill that up, or we don't need to sew that, because we are going to have the icing covering the top. But if you wish to close it, you will use a darning needle to do so. Now on to our icing, and for this let's grab our white or cream yarn and work a slip, knot and chain 2. Skip your first chain and work 8 single crochets in the second chain from your hook. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. Once you have 8 single crochets, pull on this bit of yarn to eliminate the gap between your stitches, and slip your hook in the first single crochet of your previous round to start round 2. Here's my first single crochet of round 2. Let's start using a stitch marker to identify the start of our rounds from here on. Going back into that same stitch to work another single crochet. And now we've worked an increase. We're going to be working an increase in all of these stitches all the way around. So in total, you're going to be working 8 increases. Here's increase number 6, 7, and final one, increase number 8. This brings your stitch count to 16. Let's start the next round by working a single crochet in our first stitch. Stitch marker back in place, follow this single crochet on with an increase in the next stitch. And here's your repeat for this round. 1 single crochet followed on with an increase, and repeat that all the way around until you get to this point. Go ahead and work these stitches and then meet me back here. At the end of this round, stitch count is 24. Let's start the next round by working 3 single crochets in a row. Stitch marker back in place, 2, 3. Follow this on with an increase in the next stitch. And here's your repeat for this round. 3 single crochets followed on with an increase, and repeat that all the way around. At the end of this round, stitch count is 30. Let's start the next round by working 2 single crochets in a row. Stitch marker in place. Followed on with an increase. And then 2 more single crochets in a row. And here's your repeat for this round. 2 single crochets, increase, 2 single crochets, 2 single crochets, increase, 2 single crochets. Repeat that all the way around. At the end of this round, stitch count is 36. Let's start the next round by working 5 single crochets in a row. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, followed on with an increase in the next stitch. And here you repeat for this round, 5 single crochets followed on with an increase, and repeat that all the way around. At the end of this round, stitch count is 42. We're now going to start the next round by working 8 single crochets in a row. That's my first, second, third, here's my 8th one. Once you have your 8 single crochets, you are going to start working on the drip of this icing. So we're going to start off by chaining 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Skip your first chain and work 5 single crochets coming back on towards yourself like this. So skip your first chain, slip your hook in the second chain from your hook, and work your first single crochet there. Second, third, fourth, and the 5th one. Once you have your 5 single crochets in a row, this is what the drip will look like. You're going to now work a single crochet in the next stitch to anchor this down. And there we go, that's what it looks like. We're going to now work 4 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're going to be working 3 single crochets back, starting from the second stitch from your hook. So skip your first chain, second chain, slip your hook in, work your first single crochet, second and third. Single crochet in the next stitch to anchor this down. And now you're going to be working 8 single crochets in a row again. We are now going to make another drip here. So this is going to be chain 5 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Work 4 single crochets coming back onto yourself by starting the stitches from the second chain from your hook. That's my third and fourth. Anchor this down by working a single crochet in the next stitch. And there we go. This is what the drips look like at this moment. And we are going to add one more drip on this side. So 8 single crochets again. And from here I'm going to be working chain 3. 1, 2, 3. Work 2 single crochets coming back to the stitches. 1, 2. Anchor it down by working a single crochet in the next stitch. And now we're going to finish this round by working single crochets in all of these stitches all the way to the end. And there we go. And this brings you to the end of this icing. We're going to now work a slip stitch in the next stitch. And let's go ahead and snip this yarn off, leaving a long tail. Pull it out of the stitch and pull this down. And there we have it. That's the icing done. We will be sewing this on top of the Christmas pudding. Now on to the berries for the holly leaf. Starting by working a slip knot with your red yarn, chain 2, skip your first chain and work 6 single crochets in the second chain from your hook. Here's my first, second, third, fourth, fifth, and my sixth one. Pull on this bit of yarn to eliminate the gap between your stitches. And we are now going to slip our hook in the first single crochet of your previous round and work an increase in here. That's my first increase. In this round, you're going to be working 6 increases. Here's my 5th increase and increase number 6. Stitch count should be 12 at this point. We're now going to start the next round by working a single crochet in our first stitch. We can start using a stitch marker if you wish to. Follow this single crochet on with a single crochet in every one of these stitches all the way around. So to finish this round, you're going to need 12 single crochets in a row. Almost to the end now. 10, 11, and here's my 12th one. And the stitch count is still 12 at this point. Turn this the right way around. I'm going to be working our last round, so I would suggest for you to stuff this berry up with some fiber fill. I'm going to take a tiny bit, hold it in the right place, and I'm going to start the next round by working decreases. Slip your hook in the first stitch, pull up a loop. Do the same with the stitch after that, pull up a loop. 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through all 3 in one go. And we're going to be working 6 decreases altogether. Here's my second decrease, third decrease, fourth, fifth, sixth one, and there we go. That brings us to the end of this round, but there is still a gap left between my stitches, so I'm going to be working, let's take this out a little bit because it was overstuffed. We're going to be working 1 or 2 more decreases to make the gap a bit smaller. So here's my 1 decrease, and the gap is so small that I can work a slip stitch in the opposite stitch to finish off with this. And just like this, I'm going to work a slip stitch, pull the yarn out of the stitch, and there we go. That completes one of the berries. You're going to follow the same instructions and make another one of these. So we're going to need 2 of these little red berries. So go ahead and work that and then meet me back here. Now onto the leaf, and for this, let's grab our green yarn and work a slip knot using whatever method you prefer and chain 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Once you have your 9 chains, skip the first one and work a single crochet in the second chain from your hook, single crochet in the next chain stitch as well. You have 2 single crochets in a row, followed on with 3 half double crochets, yarn over your hook, slip your hook in the next stitch, pull up a loop, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through all 3, yarn over, next chain stitch, pull up a loop, 3 loops again, yarn over, pull through all 3. One more time. And you now should have 3 stitches left, and you're going to work a single crochet in all 3 of these. Here's my first one, second, and my third single crochet. This brings you to the end of this leaf. I'm going to work a slip stitch in the opposite stitch here where we started. And once you've done that, we're going to start working in a spiral. Chain one, go back into that chain stitch and work a single crochet. In the next stitch, we're going to work a single crochet. And in this round, we're going to be working picot stitch. When we work a picot stitch, you're going to chain two, skip the first single crochet here, and work a slip stitch in the second chain from the hook, like this. And slip stitch in the next stitch, or work a single crochet in the next stitch to anchor it down. There we go. And that creates the pointy part. We're now going to work 2 single crochets, work a picot stitch, and work 3 single crochets in a row. That's 1, 2, and 3. Picot. So to do that, chain 2, work a slip stitch in the second chain from your hook, and work 3 single crochets in a row. 1, 2, and 3. Chain 2, picot, and just like this, work all the way to the end. 3 single crochets, 2 and 3, and picot again. So chain 2, work a single slip stitch in the second chain from your hook, and you should be left with 3 stitches. So work 3 single crochets to the end. 1, 2, and 3. And there's one of your leaves. We're now going to work a slip stitch in the next stitch and chain 1 after that. Snip this yarn off, pull it out of the stitch, pull this down to secure it in place. You can use this strand to tie these onto our Christmas pudding later, but that's one of the leaves done. Follow the same method and make another one of these, and then meet me back here. Now on to the assembly, and we are going to start off with the icing part only. Grab both of the leaves. We are going to attach them to like this and make them come out from the center along with the berries, something like that. So to do this, I'm going to first of all tie the little strands that we have got from the leaves together in a knot like this. I always do a double knot to keep things nice and secure. And once you've done that, you are going to use your hook to attach this onto the icing. So let's make them face the right way. Move the strands out of the way. You can certainly do this with a darning needle as well if you wish to. But I'm going to start off with a hook, and then we'll see if we need a darning needle in the end. So I'm going to hold the other 2 strands like this. Hold them in place. Slip your hook from the back. So I'm slipping it in. This is the round one. I'm slipping it in just on the outside of round one. Slip it in. Pull the big 2 loops in from that side. There we are. And I'm going to move these over and grab the little strands as well. Slip my hook in the center this time and pull those little strands in from the center. Like this. Now we've got all 4 strands out on the wrong side. We're going to take them and tie them into a knot, really nice and well, like this, into a double knot again. And once you've done that, you can either cut it down to a shorter size or just leave it be for now. So I'm going to just adjust the front, and I'm happy with that. Let's do the same sort of thing with the berries as well. I'm going to tie them into a knot. so they are just together. And once you've done that, you're going to grab, pull the strands from 2 different sides. So I'm going to pull one strand from the center again, and the other strand one round over like this. And once they both have come out from the other side, we're going to again take the strands and tie them in a knot, really nice and tightly. And for further security, if you wish to, you can tie them with the green strands as well. You don't have to, but you certainly can, to make it really nice and secure. I'm going to take all these colored strands and snip them to a shorter size, so that they could just get worked in or get left in the middle. And there we go. That attaches. So those 2 things are now attached. There we go. We're now going to thread this bit of the icing into our darning needle. Grab the Christmas pudding, and we're going to place this like this, so the drips are right next to the eyes like this. So if I bring this closer, I want to position the front first, so this one's right next to the eye here, and these 2 are right next to the eye here. That's what it should look like. And holding this in place, or you can use some pins to secure it in place if you wish to, you're going to start sewing it together. So I'm going to find where I finished. There we are. And you're going to simply catch 1 stitch on the icing and 1 stitch on the pudding, like this, and work your way all the way around. And just like this, let's work our way all the way around, keeping these in place where we want them. And when you are attaching the drips, you're just going to work around it, almost like you're outlining it. So we want to sew them down as well, like this. And there we go. Both of the drips are now attached. If you feel like there are some things protruding, you can always use your hook to pull those in, like this. And there we go. I'm going to leave that in there. Follow the same method and work your way all the way around and attach this icing onto the body, and then meet me back here. I'm on to my last 2 stitches. And here's my very last one. There we go. Once we have made our way all the way around, you're going to isolate one of the stitches on the white bit like this on the icing, and create a loop, slip your needle inside that loop and pull this down to create a knot and secure your yarn in. Once that's done, you're going to slip your needle back into the same stitch, make it go through some fiber fill, and come out from another side of the body. It doesn't matter where it comes out from, as we are going to snip it off anyways. And if it's still visible, you can just push that in with your hook, and there we go. Give the whole Christmas pudding a little massage, because that will allow it to the fibre fill to distribute evenly. And there we go. That's the icing now attached, and the holly berry as well. Last and final detail now, we are going to be adding some white yarn underneath the eyes. So insert your needle away from further away on the face, make it come out from right next to the eye. Insert it in the front, directly in the same stitch, so in the same round, should I say. There we go. Make it go through some fibre fill. And guide the needle to come out from the other side, like this. Insert it back in the corner, like all of this in the same round. We're now going to guide this needle to come out from the starting point, which is right here. Pull this out, and now we're going to move things around to position them the way we want it to be. So they're both ended up going on the top. I'm going to just use my needle to bring them to the bottom like this. And there we go. Once you've done that, you are going to pull on these strands, and that will secure this in place. I'm now going to snip them to a shorter size, tie them into a knot, and double knot is always preferred. Grab my hook, slip it in from further away, make it come out from that same stitch, loop these two strands onto my hook and pull them into the head and leave them in there. If it comes out, I can snip them off. And there we go. Those are the eyes now done. I'm going to now use a darning needle threaded with red yarn to make the mouth. For this, I'm going to be inserting the needle 2 rounds below from where we have just inserted the white yarn. So insert the needle from further away, make it come out from where you want the smile to be, so the outer edge of the mouth. Insert it, keep it equidistant from both sides. Insert it from the other side and make it come out from directly in the center, but 1 round below. And this will look like a straight line like this at this point. But then we're going to take this needle, slip it under the line, slip it back into that same stitch where we just took it out from, and guide it to go to the starting point. Now all of this, again, when we pull the strands, will get into the right position. So I'm going to pull this and pull both of these, and that will make it into a smile. Again, I'm going to snip these strands down to a shorter size, tie them into a knot, and use a hook to pull them into the body. And there we have it. Now that completes our little Christmas pudding. If you enjoyed making this Christmas pudding with me, be sure to give this video a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching.